Hey guys, do you ever find yourself needing an assistant? I need one, but not the human kind. I need something that will help me when I'm at my bench and I need a tool quickly and I don't have to want to walk across the shop to get it. So I've come up with a design for some tool organization and shop organization that'll help me out, and maybe it will help you out too while you're building your projects. So let's get busy.
This idea of the mobile cart started because of me spending more time in the shop, and I realized that I was wasting a lot of time just walking back and forth to some of the areas where I keep my tools. So I looked at this and I was like, I gotta do something to improve the organization in my shop. Now, when I was just a hobbyist and just doing things for fun, it didn't really matter. So I asked AI to generate a tool cart for me, and I guess it did okay. Gave me a few ideas, but honestly, using my own brain helped me solve the problem better. So I know there's some paid versions of AI out there that can generate some interesting things, but I'm not really into doing that right now. So maybe sometime in the future. What you saw me doing was putting my panels together. I was building this all out of reclaimed lumber, and I had to cut a piece of that plywood so that I could create the depth that I wanted and not have to go out and buy new plywood. So here I'm creating a couple frames that I needed for the top and the bottom simply because of that. I didn't have any wide enough plywood, so I have to mark where that's at, put in a little support, and then go ahead and put that together. So those are for the tops and bottoms. So this whole shelf is going to, or this whole cart is going to be about 24 inches deep by 20 inches wide. And it's going to be roughly I think about 6.5 foot tall. So, but you can design this however you need. So if you only need a 5 foot cart, then by all means, go ahead and do that. So here, just cutting down the final length that I needed so that I can start putting it together, and then lots of sanding. So I had 3 panels that I needed to sand. So this took a while, so I'll save you guys from all of that. Wow, Shop Jason is living on the edge there and trusting that that's going to stay up. So here we're getting to the point where we can do the assembly. These things are always a little tricky, especially when you're dealing with large things like this. So what I'm trying to do here is put a little right angle jig in there and clamp that down to help me get this thing so that it's going to be square. There you can see actually one of the right angle jigs that I'm holding, and they're pretty small because I think I used that on another project. Should have had something maybe a little bigger. That would probably help out with keeping this thing aligned better, but you can always check for square once you start doing the other part. So this was just rinse and repeat on the top side. Not going to show you guys that, so I basically do the same thing.
All right guys, you can see how the tool assistant is shaping up. So right now I've got it laid down, but just picture this is the top. So imagine that we're going to have all the things that I need to work on projects within this one thing. It's about, I don't know, 6'5" or so. I'm not 6'5", but I can certainly reach up high enough to get the things that'll be here. And I'm imagining that this will probably be drawers that we'll pull out because it just makes it simpler. I've thought about putting on a door that I can close up just to keep dust out of there and open that up. And on that would be things that I could hang, like squares or my calipers or some other light tools. And inside would contain all of the things that I use frequently, whether it's pencils, sandpaper, wrenches, chisels, my punches, all of those things that I typically will use during a project, and it's just going to save me time rather than running back and forth to the cabinet or to my machine tool box. So there's just so much wasted time now that I'm in the shop more often. It's really going to help that. So I'll just scoot this thing over out of the way and then pull it up to my bench when I'm working on that. So that's what I'm thinking. I might put a stationary shelf in here. When I stood this up, it seems just fine. I could probably get away with it, but just to add a little extra stability, I'm thinking maybe a stationary shelf somewhere in the middle, depending on how I ultimately measure this out, because I want to make sure that I'm able to get in the tools that I want into here, which will probably include my drills, hand drills that are currently right under here. So I want to have these up and hanging in here somewhere. So that also thinking, where will the charging station be? Because right now it's out of the way. So I might want to put that up top where I can then electrify this too. So lots of things to think about as I'm continuing on this. So stick around and let's see how this thing turns out.
All right, I'm just marking where I'm putting on the back for this thing. So I decided to do a full back, so that would give it some more strength. Shop Jason, I guess, was getting warm at that point. I don't really have much heat in the garage, so there's some days that it's super cold in there. I live in Ohio, so there's times where it'll be 30 degrees in there. But here I'm ripping down all of the boards for the drawers that I'm putting together, and then I'll cut them down to size here. Decided to do some rabbets to put the drawers together rather than just a butt joint. Rabbet joint is much stronger, so thought it would be worthwhile to do it.
So here's where we're at. Got the case built back there, as you can see, and past Jason forgot that he was putting in a back, so therefore didn't need any of the stationary shelves that would go in there to give it support. It's going to be fine. So I need to figure out the positioning of the drawers, the sliding drawers, and also think a little bit more about the content that I'm going to put in there, because in some cases I'll want to pull the drawer out and maybe have some standing partitions that I can easily get access to smaller things. So I'm going to think about that a little bit and then get busy on working on those. So let's get to it.
All right, here I got a 1/4 inch bit in my router and just putting the groove in for the bottom of the drawers. And here we're going to cut the plywood down. Just used 1/4 inch plywood, cutting that down for the bottoms of the drawers. And notice I always kick out the wood on the other side of the blade. Just habit, something my dad taught me, just to keep things away from that spinning blade. Let me know if you guys do something different.
Cheers.
Oh, this was a fun project. So this took a little while. Got to glue up all of these drawers. I made 5 drawers in total, so it's rinse and repeat, do this thing over again. This is the one thing I had to buy for the mobile cart. I didn't have any casters. And here I'm just showing you, I used some setup blocks to do the markings for my drawer glides. Comes in handy. I got that as a Christmas gift, so I've already used them several times. And then I have a spacer that I use to space out my glides, just a piece of plywood there.
All right, guys, I've got a couple of the hangers on here for the clamps, and you can see that's going to do a pretty good job. It fits these parallel clamps pretty well. I'll have different sizes of clamps that I need to put on here, but I'm going to save that for the next time I work on this. But let me swing this around and you can take a look at this. Now, off camera, I did work on finishing this, and you can see that I got the interior white for a little bit of reflection so that it'll just brighten it up inside. I polyurethaned everything else except for the face of these drawers. So these drawers just add a little color to them. You know, I want to work in an environment that looks good, so I decided to do that. And these drawers are full extension glides. They'll pull all the way out, and I can put my things on there. But honestly, I'm running out of time to finish this up. Sure, it's good now. It will hold my tools, and I can start putting things in there if I want to, just like drills or whatever, and my other small things. But I don't really like this because it's wasted space. So I have plans to build some caddies that will go inside, that if I want to, I can pull things out and it'll just be better organization. Like, for instance, maybe some vertical alignment things in here so things won't fall over, or things that I can actually pull out of here and take to the bench. But the whole idea is that I've got everything right here that I use when I'm working there at my workbench, and I can just open this up, grab a chisel, grab a screwdriver, grab my drill, grab my nail guns, whatever that is, I can pull right out of this cart. So it's working pretty well, and we'll save that for the next time. So the next time you see one of my shop upgrade videos, you can take a look at this. But for now, I've got a project that I need to get to, and you'll see that coming out shortly. So it's back to real work and not just things for the shop. But I do like to try to spend a little bit of time in the shop to make tools that will be more efficient for me, and not so much client work and or furniture that I'm building for friends or family too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and remember, get out there in your shop and keep on building.